Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. The US economy is not hibernating, it is bleeding, and the idea of a V-shaped recovery is fading fast. If we look at the latest data, it is pretty evident that the consumer is hurting massively. Retail sales, credit card delinquencies, and in general all that has to do with services is truly suffering. And it's truly suffering because the business fabric of the United States, like most developed economies, is fundamentally very small companies that are closing down at record pace and destroying jobs also very quickly. This generates ripple effects in the economy, not just in the very short period of the lockdown, but also longer term. If we think, for example, of when those jobs are going to come back, when those businesses are going to start again, if they start again, because many of them will simply just close, and when things like tourism, like everything that has to do with hospitality and travel, are going to return to the levels that we saw prior to the lockdown, it is very difficult to think that the overall economy is going to strengthen rapidly. If we think about, for example, manufacturing, let's remember that the manufacturing sector was already in contraction in 2019 and was quite weak in general. We also have to remember that the earnings profile of the largest companies in the United States was also weakening in the last couple of years. Yes, the stock market was rising rapidly, but mostly due to the central bank action. So if we put together manufacturing weakness plus services weakness plus the effect on the export and trade activity of many companies coming from the reality of a slowdown that is also very severe in emerging economies, all of that put together, added to the weakness of the financial sector, rising delinquencies, rising non-performing loans, put severe burdens on the pace of recovery. This doesn't mean that the United States is the only one or the worst affected. Many of the commentators in the past years that have been speaking about what the US government should do and the types of policies that the United States should follow have been using as a footprint of what should be done the European Union. But if there's anything that this crisis is showing us, is that the Eurozone is actually faring much worse than the United States, despite all those allegedly magical government actions and massive interventions and stimuli. It's also showing that unemployment is rising dramatically in the Eurozone. Almost 1 in every 3 people in the United States, it might go to unemployment, and that might recover very quickly in the 1 to 3 months after the economy opens fully. However, if we look at the Eurozone, already now we have about 30% of the workforce in the European Union under some form of this unemployment scheme, be it temporary job support, be it cessation of activity of self-employed, or full unemployment. And the burden on the governments of these costs are likely to move further into 2020, 2021, and probably 2022. In many cases, we estimate that unemployment in the Eurozone is not going to come back to the levels of early 2019 until 2023. So, one thing that this crisis shows is that it is very difficult to believe that economies with much higher levels of rigidity, economies with much higher levels of intervention from governments, and economies with allegedly very high levels of support schemes that then don't work when the crisis hits, show that the solution for the United States is actually to be more open, is actually to implement supply-side measures in order to allow the economy to breathe fast, for those jobs to come back quicker, and for the business fabric of the economy to heal rapidly. The capital is there. The level of talent, the level of investment capacity, and the level of attraction of capital that the United States economy has is unequaled. And also the fact that the real economy does not depend so much on the banking sector is a truly essential factor in order to help the economy heal fast in the middle of a crisis. What this crisis should show us is that trying to prevent the problems created by government intervention and lack of prevention by giving more power to those governments does not work. So the United States economy will recover faster. It is quite difficult to believe in a V-shaped recovery right now, but if there's anything that we have learned and that we should learn, is that the solution is not to copy the Eurozone. Thank you very much. Please subscribe to my channel, leave your comments below, and let's hope that we continue to see each other and obviously help continue with the dialogue about the economy. Thank you very much.